Everybody. Sorry, it's been a long time since I made a video. It's been about a week now. I've just been so busy because I'm back at work now, and a haircut, of course. But anyway, in this video, I'm going to be ranking the all the Beatles albums. Now, this was really difficult because the truth is, I love every Beatles album. I literally love them, like every single one of them. And I literally don't. I love literally every single song on every album. So that's why it was so difficult to rank them. But I eventually put together my ranking and come up with one. So it wasn't easy. I feel guilty, but and this is just my personal opinion. If you want to do yours, just do it in the comments below. I'm always interested to look at other people's rankings. And yeah, I've seen lots of people do this on YouTube. I've watched tons of YouTube videos where people have ranked Beatles albums. Some people have said they've got some like weak albums, but in my opinion, I love them all. Like, all of them are just great, and literally every song on every one of them is great. But number 13 for me is Yellow Submarine. Now, this is the one that's always at the bottom of everyone's list. And of course, the main reason is because it's only half a Beatles album. It's only got six Beatles songs on it, and two of those 6 songs we've already heard before. They already appeared on 2 previous albums. Yellow Submarine, of course, was on Revolver, and All You Need Is Love was on Magical Mystery Tour. But I still love those 2 songs, and I love the 4 new songs as well. Only a Northern Song, All Together Now, Hey Bulldog, It's All Too Much. Fantastic songs. I love all the songs on here. And then the other half of the album is all the instrumentals by George Martin that were the film scores. I like the instrumentals. I think George Martin he's a great composer. But I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. He's a great record producer, but also a great film score composer. But yeah, this is the one that I listen to the least, just because it's not all Beatles material on here. Like if there was like if it was like all Beatles songs on here, it would be higher on my list. But it's a good soundtrack. I love the film as well. The film's great. It's very weird, trippy, but it's just great fun. So it's Yellow Submarine at number 13. So that one was kind of easy to put at number 13, but this is where I start to feel guilty. Number 12, I put Let It Be. Now, I love Let It Be. Like I say, I love all these albums. And yeah, there's the 2 songs on here which a lot of fans seem to really hate are Dig It and Maggie May. Because a lot of people don't really consider them as proper songs because they're just like 10-second jams, but I love those 2 tracks. I think they're just great fun. 2 of Us, I love. Dig a Pony, Across the Universe, Let It Be, of course. What can you say about that song? That hasn't already been said. I've Got a Feeling. Good rocking song. The Long and Winding Road, Get Back. One After 909 I also love. It's another one that most fans seem to discard, but Great song. Everything, like every one of them on here is great. So you're probably asking why is it ranked so low? Well, like I say, I love all these albums, but I'm doing a list. I'm doing a ranking, so they've got to be ranked somewhere. They can't all be at number 1 or number 2. Unfortunately. And this is not set in stone. This could change at any time. Because like maybe tomorrow when I look at this video, my opinion could change tomorrow. I'm not saying it will, but it might. Yeah, it could change next week. It could change any time. This is just how I feel. Right, this is how I'm ranking them right now. This is just how I feel now. But ask me again in a week. It could change. But yeah, Let It Be is number 12. I feel guilty. I really feel guilty. Number 11. With the Beatles, their second album. It Won't Be Long. Fantastic. All I've Got to Do. All My Loving. Little Child. I love Little Child. One of those songs that's kind of discarded by fans. I love it. Hold Me Tight, another one that most fans don't seem to like. I think it's brilliant. Really got a hold on me. And yeah, there are a lot of covers on here, but I want to say that unlike most people, I don't have a problem with covers. I don't have a problem with cover songs that the Beatles did. I like them all. I don't have any issue with them at all. Devil in Her Heart, I love. I Want to Be Your Man, which was originally recorded by the Rolling Stones. And of course, I love the Rolling Stones as well. Their version is really cool. Money, That's What I Want. Great closing track. It's a great way to end the album. Not a bad song on here. Like, none of these albums have bad songs on them. Like, I could say that about. I'm just going to say that about all of them. There's just no bad songs. No bad songs at all. So With the Beatles is number 11. Number 10. Going for Please Please Me, the debut album. I Saw Her Standing There. A great way to open the album. Misery. Boys. I like Boys. It's another one that the fans don't like, but I love it. It's the first Beatles. It's the first Beatles song with Ringo Starr on vocals, and yeah, he's just awesome. Just great vocal performance. Ask Me Why. And of course, you've got Please Please Me and Love Me Do on here. The two hits. I think all of them are hits. Really, they're all wonderful. They're all great. P.S. I Love You, Baby It's You. A Taste of Honey. I like A Taste of Honey. Another one that a lot of fans crap on, but I like every song on here. And of course, you've got Twist and Shout. Great song. What's remarkable about this album is that it was recorded in just one day. And that doesn't normally happen when you record an album. It normally takes like months to record an album. Because like with the rest of their albums, it took months to record them, but they recorded this in just a day. Just unbelievable and just brilliant. One of the best, definitely one of my top 5 debut albums of all time. It's just brilliant, just perfect. Number 9, losing track now. 12. So yeah, number 9 is Beatles for Sale. You know, a lot of fans consider this to be their weakest album, but I strongly disagree with that. And I probably can understand why they consider it to be their weakest. I mean, it kind of was rushed. So I think it was only recorded in just a couple of months. So normally with their albums, it normally takes, you know, like a bit longer. You know, because it was like towards the end of 1964, and they had to get something, released before Christmas, and of course there was a deadline, and they didn't have enough original songs for a full album, so that's why they just recorded a load of cover songs. But I love all the cover songs. I mean, it may have been rushed because this came out after Hard Day's Night, which Hard Day's Night was the first album with all original songs on it, like the first one without any covers. And then after this, they released another album that's half originals and then half covers. But it's a great album, you know. I think it's just perfect for me. This is one of my favourites from the early period of the Beatles. You know, No Reply. It's a great song. I'm a Loser, Baby's in Black. Even the covers are great. Rock and Roll Music. Mr. Moonlight. I love Mr. Moonlight. Like, I don't understand why fans give that song so much shit. I love John's vocal performance on it. It's one of my favourite John Lennon vocal performances. You know, it's just something about that song that it brings a tear to my eye, you know. It just shows you how great the Beatles really were, but like, you know, because although Mr. Moonlight is a cover, the Beatles really make it their own. And I also love the organ solo in that, which, you know, a lot of people really hate that organ solo. They think it's very silly, very cringy, but I think it's beautiful. It's brilliant. Kansas City is great. The cover of Words of Love. Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby. It's a great cover. What else we got? We've got 8 Days a Week on here, of course. You know, there's no introduction needed for that. It's just, I think everyone knows that song. Don't Want to Spoil the Party. Great song. You know, it's not a bad song on here. There isn't. Every song on here is great. Beatles for Sale is number 9. I actually listened to this today when I was at work today. I listened to Spotify, and I listened to this. I just enjoyed it. I mean, it's not the first time I've listened to it all the way through, obviously, but I just enjoy this every time I hear it. Of course, listening to it today, I mean, it kind of made me feel guilty putting this at number 9. You know. But like I say, I'm ranking these, and they've got to sit somewhere. They can't all sit at number 1. So, Beatles for Sale number 9. Number 8 is Hard Day's Night. And yeah, this of course is the first album of all original songs. And just brilliant. And I love the movie as well. The movie is just great. Just great fun. Hard Day's Night. Should have known better. If I Fell. And I Love Her. Great ballad. Can't Buy Me Love. Anytime at All. Things We Said Today, You Can't Do That, I'll Be Back. Just a 10 out of 10. Like, I think all of these albums can easily be 10 out of 10. Like, there's literally not a thing wrong with this album, or any of these albums. There's not a thing wrong with them. And then number 7, I'm going for Help. And again, I love the movie Help. A lot of people don't seem to like it as much as Hard Day's Night, but Help is actually my favourite Beatles film. Now, I love Hard Day's Night, but Help I actually like just a little bit more. You know, I love Help. Great film. Just great fun. And the album is fantastic. You've got all the movie songs on here. They're all great. Help, Night Before, Got to Hide Your Love Away, I Need You, You're Gonna Lose That Girl, Ticket to Ride, Act Naturally, good cover, It's Only Love, You Like Me Too Much, Tell Me What You See, I've Just Seen a Face, Yesterday. And of course, Yesterday, I mean, it's the first Beatles song where it's only one Beatle performing on the songs. The other Beatles don't play on it. And it's the most covered song. You know, there's been like, I can't remember how much exactly, but apparently there's over 100 versions of that song. You know, like 100 other bands and artists have covered that song. But yeah, I think the only other version that I've heard is the Wet 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 version, which I'm not a fan. I don't really like Wet Wet Wet. So yeah, I can't say their version's not. It's not that bad, but you know, the Beatles version is. It is and always will be the definitive version. It's just a masterpiece. Help, number 7. And number 6 is Rubber Soul. Oh, brilliant, I love Rubber Soul. Like, I especially felt guilty putting this at number 6 because there are points when this is actually my favourite Beatles album. I think most of these could be my favourites at any time, really. Drive My Car. Fantastic. I love Drive My Car. Norwegian Wood is great. Yeah, it's the first use of a sitar on the Beatles music. Nowhere Man, Think for Yourself, The Word, What Goes On. I love What Goes On, you know. It's another one of those songs that most Beatles fans seem to crap on, but you know, I don't care what people say, to be honest. I love What Goes On. I love all the Beatles songs, as I've said. You know, I mean, it is completely subjective, you know. You know, it's okay to dislike Beatles songs. You know, even if you are a Beatles fan, it's okay to dislike some of their songs. Because there are some bands that I love, where there are some songs of theirs which I don't like The Who. I mean, I love The Who, you know, and I love all their like 60s stuff and most of the 70s stuff, but in the 80s, I can't say I like a lot of the stuff they did in the 80s. But when it comes to the Beatles, you know, I love everything they've done, literally everything. So, Girl, fantastic. I'm Looking Through You, In My Life, that's a beautiful song. One of the loveliest songs ever recorded. If I Needed Someone, probably one of my favourite George Harrison Beatles songs. Like, I think this is when George started to really I don't know, this is when he really started to develop his songwriting. I mean, obviously, yeah, he was brilliant before this. You know, he always was. So I don't know why I'm saying that, because like the songs on the previous album, on the Help album, the ones that he did on there were great. You've got Run for Your Life, which, I love it as a song, musically it's just great, great guitar, great vocal, but, it's got some dodgy lyrics, it's him, like threatening to kill his girlfriend if she cheats on him, Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend that I like the lyrics, because I don't. That doesn't mean to say I don't like the song. I love the song. Like I can enjoy it without thinking about the lyrics, and the vocals are great as well. It's just yeah, I just don't like the lyrics. But other than that, it's a great song. This is a great album. Absolutely love Rubber Soul. And this is how you need to hear Rubber Soul, like, not the Capitol Records version, where they took a bunch of the songs off, on the Capitol Records version, they took off Drive My Car, they took off Nowhere Man, they took off What Goes On, and they took off If I Needed Someone. I mean, they added I've Just Seen a Face, and It's Only Love, which are on the Help album. They are fantastic songs, but yeah, I don't like what Capitol did to the Beatles albums. In the 1960s, it was common in America for British bands to have their albums butchered, as the Beatles refer to it. I think, yeah, for them to be butchered by the American record companies. And yeah, I agreed with the Beatles. Yeah, the Beatles didn't like what Capitol were doing. So, yeah, this is Rubber Soul. This is as the Beatles intended it. And of course, this is now the definitive version of Rubber Soul. So, and it's the version the Beatles intended. So, yeah, I didn't really need to tell you that, because you probably knew that anyway. Yeah, you probably don't need me to tell you that. Number 5, and this is an album that most people would probably have at number 1, and I can definitely see why. It's just an absolute masterpiece. And it's Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Of course, I felt guilty ranking all of these, really, because especially the ones in my top 5, like any of these could be my number 1. Like, really. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band's a great song. And it goes into With a Little Help from My Friends. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is great. Getting Better. Fixing a Hole, She's Leaving Home. For the Benefit of Mr. Kite. Within You Without You. I love Within You Without You. Another song that most Beatles fans hate it. A lot of fans don't like George's Indian song. Well, some fans love George's Indian style music. Some Beatles fans hate it. I love it. I love Within You Without You. It's such an underrated song. It's definitely one of my favourite George songs. A lot of fans normally because I've, as I said, I've watched Beatles rankings on YouTube before, and some of them have said that they don't like Within You Without You, but I have heard some people say they love it. I mean, like I say, it's all subjective. It's perfectly okay if you don't like it, but I do. It's brilliant. When I'm 64, I absolutely love. Good Morning, another gem, I think. And of course, you've got Day in the Life, one of the greatest songs ever written. Yeah, this is just a masterpiece. Like, there's not really much more you can say about this album that hasn't been said. It is just a masterpiece. it is a perfect album. Some may disagree. I mean, some people like. Some people are saying, you know, it's overrated. No, definitely not. And as I've said, like I did a video where I said, are the Beatles overrated? And of course, I said they're not. You know, I definitely don't think they are. And I don't think this is an overrated album. I think it is one of the greatest albums of all time. It still holds up to this day, and yeah, I don't agree when people say it's overrated or it's dated. No, it is a great album. It's perfect. Every song on here is great. As with every other album, as I've said, like every song on all of these is great, but. And yeah, of course, Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones, he's said that this album is rubbish, but you know, I do love the Rolling Stones. I love them. I love the Stones, and I love Keith Richards, but I mean, Keith, you know, he's entitled to his opinion, but I think he's just jealous, really. I mean, you know, just because that. I think any artist would be, really. I mean, of course, the Stones did their Satanic Majesty's Request the same year as this. Now, I do love Satanic Majesty's Request, but I don't like comparing it to this album because they're nothing alike. Like, I don't consider the Satanic Majesty's Request a copy of this. You know, like they are just two different albums. But yeah, it's a great album. I think it still holds up. Not overrated at all. It'll always be perfect. And number 4 is Revolver. I love Revolver. Got Taxman. Great George song. Of course, this is when the Beatles really started changing. This was probably the beginning of the psychedelic era. You know, you got a lot of. This was like the first use of backwards guitar. So you got backwards guitar on "I'm Only Sleeping," and then on "Tomorrow Never Knows." I love "Tomorrow Never Knows." I think it's probably my favourite song on this album. It's very trippy, and it's also the first use of like flanging. Yeah, that effect that you hear on John's voice during the final verse. Yeah, they record his voice through this rotating Leslie speaker cabinet, and yeah, it's the first use of flanging. Yellow Submarine. I love Yellow Submarine. And yeah, it's always been one of my favourite Beatles songs because, you know, hold on, sorry. It's always been one of my favourite Beatles songs because it was the song that made me a Beatles fan. You know, it was that song, and I have fond memories of listening to it when I was a kid. You know, when I was a kid, I had. Yeah, my grandparents had a copy of Beatles 1, you know, the compilation, which I think I already mentioned this in my Beatles CD collection video that I did just before Christmas. Yeah, whenever I went to visit them, they'd sometimes play it, and the song that I'd always ask them to play was Yellow Submarine. So yeah, and I still love that song to this day. It's still very important to me. I have many, many fond memories of it. So yeah, it's my favourite Ringo song. It really is my favourite Ringo Beatles song. So yeah, Ringo, he used to be my favourite Beatle. But the thing is now, I'm not too sure I have a favourite Beatle, to be honest, because I think all four of them are just equally great. You know, they've all got their own personality, their own charm. I just love all four of these guys. What else we got on here? Love You Too. You know, it's an Indian song and it's great. You know, Dr. Robert, great song. Of course, yeah, I never really knew who Dr. Robert was. Some say it might have been Bob Dylan, because he introduced them to pop. I don't think it's about Bob Dylan, but it could be. I don't know. So yeah, Revolver is number 4. And of course, this is the intended version of Revolver. This is how the Beatles wanted you to hear it. It's the full version with the 14 songs, not that shitty Capitol Records version that only had 11 songs on it. Yeah, it was sacrilege what they did to Revolver. And one of the songs they took off was Dr. Robert, which is one of my favourites on here. Yeah, it was really shitty what Capitol Records did. Like, they should have just left them alone. They should have just released them the same way as the Beatles themselves released them in the UK, and not just in the UK but everywhere else as well. You know, this is the definitive Revolver. The Capitol Records version, yeah, it's not worth a shit. It's not worth it if there's songs missing off of it. No, this is the version you need to hear. This is the proper Revolver. Well, this is the international version now, because obviously they canonised the UK albums. So yeah, these are the definitive ones. So yeah, this is the proper Revolver. Not the Capitol Records version. It's not Revolver in my opinion. Number 3 for me is Magical Mystery Tour. Now, of course, we all know the story behind Magical Mystery Tour. But of course, this wasn't released as an album in the UK. In the UK, this was released as an EP that only featured the songs from the film. So these songs here. And then in America they released Capitol. They put it together as a full album and then included these 5 songs here, which were like, these had only been issued as singles that same year. But people love this one so much because it just works so well as a proper album, because all the songs on here are from 1967 and they're not on any other studio album. So yeah, this was the only American release that became an official album, that became part of their international catalogue, like their main catalogue. And yeah, I'm just glad they did that, because this is a great album. It's just a perfect album. The film, I wouldn't say I'm not a big fan of the film, because it is, it's fun. Yeah, the film, it's good fun, but if I want to watch a Beatles film, Magical Mystery Tour is not the one that I go for. Like, I'd rather put on Hard Day's Night or Help, It's not a bad film, it's just, it's just flawed, because, it had no script. Yeah, there was no script, no professional film crew. It was just Paul McCartney, and it was Paul McCartney's idea, actually. He's the one that wrote the, well, it wasn't a script, he, did some drawings. Yeah, he, drew a plan of what the film was going to be like. So yeah, it's just the Beatles and a bunch of other actors. They just turned on the camera and then that was it. No script, no. This was all. The film was all improvised. But the album, however, the music it's out of this world. It's fantastic. Magical Mystery Tour, Fall on the Hill, Flying. I like Flying. It's a great instrumental. It's very psychedelic, and I like the bit where it appears in the film. When they're on the bus, and then they look out the window, and then there's like this, and then it's all green, and like the sky turns sort of a green color, and it's just very psychedelic. Blue Jay Way, I love Blue Jay Way. I think Blue Jay Way is my favourite George Harrison Beatles song. A lot of Beatles fans say that it's just a filler track, but I strongly disagree with that. I think it's a great psychedelic song, especially when you hear the lyrics. I mean, it's basically just George, because I think most fans would know the story behind this. George was staying in, he was on holiday in Los Angeles, and of course he rented a house in the Hollywood Hills, and the name of the street, one of the streets up there is called Blue Jay Way. So he rented him and his wife rented a house in Blue Jay Way, and then George was waiting for his friend was supposed to be joining them, but he hadn't turned up yet because he was like, there was a heavy fog in Los Angeles that night, and his friend was like looking for the house, and he was late, so because he'd phoned George or something to tell him that he was going to be late, and then George was very jet lagged, and I think his wife had already gone to bed or something. He was jet lagged, so he was like desperately, he was desperately trying to stay awake to wait up for his friend, and then like to pass the time, he wrote the song. He wrote Blue Jay Way, because in the living room in that house there was a Hammond organ in the living room, and he wrote Blue Jay Way on the organ. It's not the I don't think it's the same organ that was used in the song, but he wrote the song on that organ. But so there's no guitars on this song. It's all like organs and cellos. It's very trippy. There's this like, you can really feel the atmosphere of the song. It's like you were sat there with George. It's like you just know what he was feeling when he wrote this. He was tired. It's kind of it's very haunting. Sitting there very late at night, waiting for your friend. Waiting up for your friend who's lost in a heavy fog. And I just love that foggy effect that they use on George's vocals, and then the droning organ, and then the flanging throughout. There's like the flanging effect that's used on the drums. It really just adds to the. I just love the atmosphere of this song. You got Your Mother Should Know. Great song. I Am the Walrus. It's weird. The lyrics, they make absolutely no sense at all. But John Lennon did say that the lyrics weren't supposed to make sense, because obviously he got tired of people trying to read into the read deeper into the meanings of the Beatles song lyrics, and so he basically got tired of that, so he wanted to write a song where the lyrics had no meaning at all, and it worked. That song it's a masterpiece. It's a genius. It's a work of art. And you got Hello Goodbye. You got Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane, which of course were originally written to be included on Sgt. Pepper, because they were the first songs written for Pepper. but of course they got released as singles instead. But I think they fit better on this album. It would have been interesting to, if they had been included on Sgt. Pepper, that would have been interesting, to hear how the album would have sounded with those 2 songs on it. But I think they fit better on here. You've got Baby You're a Rich Man, and you've got All You Need Is Love. I love Magical Mystery Tour. Perfect album, just perfect. Now, we're into the top 2 now. Can you guess what number 2 is? If you're a Beatles fan and then you know all the albums, you can probably guess what the top 2 are. Number 2 is Abbey Road. Brilliant. There's really nothing more you can say about Abbey Road that hasn't already been said. It's a perfect album. Like, there's literally nothing I would change about this album. It is just... The iPad keeps slipping. Let me put it back on the stand. There. No, it's just a perfect album. Come Together. Something. Maxwell Silverhammer. I love Maxwell Silverhammer. Again, another Beatles song that's discarded by fans. Nah. I love it. Oh Darling, I Want You, She's So Heavy. Of course, the beautiful Here Comes the Sun. Because. And then after that you get the absolute masterpiece medley. Beginning with You Never Give Me Your Money. Sun King. You've got the Golden Slumbers medley on here. And then you got Carry That Weight in the end. It's just brilliant. And then you got Her Majesty, which was the hidden track at the end, which I like it. I like Her Majesty. It's a fun little like hidden track put on the end of the album. And yeah, this is the last Beatles album, really. I know Let It Be was released afterwards, but it was recorded before Abbey Road. This was the last one they recorded. I do love Let It Be, as I've said. I love the album Let It Be. But I just think it's a better album for them to go out on, So yeah, Abbey Road is my number 2 favourite, but I could have easily put this at number 1. I really could have done, but I wanted to, but the one that is at my number 1, at the moment, that's just my favourite one at the moment, so obviously, but ask me again in a week, this could be at my number 1, who knows, because this is not, it's not going to stay this way forever, it will change. And then number 1, I think you probably know what number 1's going to be. If you know the Beatles catalogue, you'll know what my number 1 is. It is the White Album. I love the White Album. And yeah, it's a double album, but I don't think there are too many songs on it. Like, some say it's got a lot of filler on it and there's too many songs, and and some would say not all the songs needed to be put on here. It would have made a better single LP. I disagree. I think it's perfect the way it is. Like, as Paul McCartney has said about this album, he's said, "It's the bloody White Album, shut up." Yeah, it's just perfect. Even Revolution 9, I like. It's weird, but no, I like it a lot. I like every song on here. Literally everything. Got Obla Di Obla Da, Back in the USSR, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Rocky Raccoon, Your Blues, Helter Skelter. I love Helter Skelter. Long, Long, Long. I Will. Birthday. Mother Nature's Son. Continuing Story of Bungalow Bill. Happiness is a Warm Gun. Blackbird. I'm So Tired. Dear Prudence. Glass Onion. Savoy Truffle. Honey Pie. It's just so many good ones on it. It's just like I could go on for hours talking about this album, but I'm not going to, unfortunately, because the video would be too long. It's probably too long already as it is, you know, because I probably have rambled on a bit too long. But yeah, the White Album is my number one favourite Beatles album at the moment. But, you know, like I say, in a week, it could change. So yeah, that's my ranking of the Beatles albums. I hope you enjoyed that. And, you know, let me know in the comments how you would rank them. You know, it's all subjective. There's no right or wrong. Just rank them. Just tell me how you would rank them. You know, I'm always interested to see other people's opinions. You know, how other people rank them. You know, it's a very interesting subject for me, and you know, just put it in the comments how you would rank them. So yes, that's my Beatles ranking, and give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.